All right, hello again. This is Dr. Ramon, and uh, I'd like to present to you the second installment of the video recording device and uh, engineering template that you can actually use for doing a presentation for your science fair uh, presentation. Okay, now I'm using Zoom right now, and the way you use Zoom is pretty simple. You download the app and you launch it, and if it's even if it's a free version, as long as you're the only one who's connecting to it, you can have unlimited recording time for this. Okay, so right now, what I did was just to turn on the video, and I logged into Zoom, and then I hit the record button, and now it's just recording. Okay, so that's how simple you Zoom is when it comes to using it for presentations. Now, how do you actually do the presentation? The way you do it is you're gonna have to share your screen. Okay, so look for the share button and or the share icon. Usually it's somewhere in the bottom. And I'm not going into the details again of how to use Zoom. If you want to use it, I can walk you through the actual details of it later on, but I'm just giving you a flavor for how you can use Zoom. Okay. Um, so now what I'm doing is I'm gonna share my desktop screen, and I would have the option of playing a video or sound if I wish to, but because I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, I'm just doing a narration. I don't need the computer sound. It's important that you do that if you're sharing a video eventually. Now, I'm sharing my screen right now. This is desktop screen one because again, my computer, my laptop is actually connected to an external monitor. So I'm sharing right now my first screen, which is my main laptop screen. So this is where my PowerPoint presentation is. So I'll walk you through the engineering template. And by the way, in Zoom, what happens is when you're recording, you will have your window, your uh, it's called picture-in-picture window um, of your narration in the corner, okay, upper right corner of the screen. Okay, so the presentation mode and the presenter window doesn't look the same as the viewer window, so I don't really exactly know where what you're seeing, but uh, in general, you will see the way you see the presentation. The only thing that's changed is really where the location of your picture-in-picture uh, video for the webcam is going to be located. Okay, so without further ado, let me go over the engineering PowerPoint template. So for this presentation, if you're doing an engineering project, there are slight differences between it and doing a science project, and that's where the details comes into the subtle differences comes into play. Okay, the title page is exactly the same. You have to have your scientific project ID, project title. You would need to have your proponents' names, of course, the school, city, state, and the country. Okay, so you're gonna have that there, and then you start with your introduction. The introduction is an introduction on the engineering problem and what the goal of your project is all about. The way this differs from a science project is that you really don't have a hypothesis here. Instead, what you have is an engineering goal. Remember, engineering is one where you're supposed to be building something. When you're building something, there has to be a purpose for it. What is that? What's the end goal? Okay. And normally it would be trying to solve a problem by constructing something. Okay. And that's what you want to make state as clearly as you can here. It always starts with the problem that you're trying to solve, and the engineering goal is working towards getting an answer to that engineering problem that you have identified. Okay, again, as in science projects, you have to state your relevant literature. So you have to have read enough to be able to expound on this and to rationalize your engineering goal. Okay. Um, a caveat here is that normally engineering projects are multiple year projects. And so if this is not the first of a series of projects that you're going to be doing, you have to state what you did in the past and then state how this project is different from the past project. Okay, what is that new thing that you've added? It has to be sufficient enough to warrant that it's a new project altogether. Okay, so after that, you state your methods. How are you gonna build what you're supposed to build? Um, how will you come up with a prototype? What's the design for it? Okay, are you considering multiple prototypes and trying to see which one works most effectively? Okay, how are you gonna try to gather your data? How are you gonna um, check whether you're successful in designing your contraption and it's able to address the engineering problem. So all of those are in under methods. Again, as in science projects, try to be more visual here. Don't just give me a list of steps. It's not a cast and pasting that you cut and paste from your research plan. Okay, you do not need again to list down your material separately. It's gonna become obvious as you state your methods. Now, on to the results. Okay, even if it's an engineering goal, it should still be it should still yield results. You have to somehow check your engineering goal, whether you've met it and whether the goal of meeting and answering the engineering problem was met. Okay, and you're gonna that's basically your results. What data did you gather and how are you gonna interpret that? That comes in the discussion. Okay, so in this particular piece, the science and the engineering project doesn't really have much difference. You're basically just interpreting the results of the data that you've gathered from the prototype that you created. Okay, and after that, of course, you're just going to state your conclusion. Nothing new here, except that what your conclusion is geared towards whether your engineering goal has met and addressed the engineering problem that you're trying to research on. Okay, and then you can state what your possible applications are, what the extension researches are going to be. Okay, what's in store in the future for this particular project, where are you going to take it next? Okay, and after that, of course, you have to have your references. This is something that's common in all researches. One page, but it has to be the most relevant ones that needs to be cited here, and they have to be in proper MLA or APA format. Okay, so that is an engineering project. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to use MS Teams to do a recording and of your video on presentation, and to go over the math and computer science template.